Hey everybody! On this episode of Gaming and Collecting, me and Alex are going to be returning for another iteration of our three anime films series. This time covering the films Look Back, Maquia When the Promised Flower Blooms, and 5 centimeters per second. Should be interesting going over the three, but anyways guys, on with the episode. So how you
Hi.
been? Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Yeah, you like
Hi.
you like eggs, we know.
I'm so tired. I did 36 miles today.
Good for you.
And we stopped for ice cream. And it was really hot out. So, like, one of us was watching the bikes while the next person went in to get ice cream. And I was eating my ice cream and it got everywhere. It was dripping down my arm, all over my hands. That's the fastest I've inhaled ice cream.
Well, you got it on a cone, I'm guessing.
I did. That was my mistake. I should have got it in a
You
cup.
never get a cone. Cones are
I
overrated.
know, but I saw like 8 people with cones, and I was like, I want a cone too. And then I regretted it. And then my friend Chris, who I was biking with, also got a cone, and he also was like, fuck. And the same thing. We both were covered in ice cream, but thankfully they had a bathroom.
Yeah. No, I've always been a cup guy because cones just are messy. Yeah.
I do love. I don't know. I love ice cream. I'll eat it any time of the day. But I'm in pain now after like finally like relaxing and stuff. I'm feeling it. But Bill, guess what?
What?
My hair is blue green. Slightly. I changed the color from purple to teal. Wow.
That's fun.
I think you should dye yours pink.
No.
Green?
No.
Yellow.
No.
Orange?
That's just too much work.
Red?
No.
Pistachio?
I'm not dyeing my hair. If I do, it's gonna be black.
Boo. Oh, what's that? What's that in your hand, Bill?
It's too early for that.
Oh, we got chat more. Okay. What else do you have to chat about?
I watched.
How's life been? Oh.
I watched fucking Depression over
This
week.
Grave of the Firefly.
Yeah. Fuck that.
The only reason you watched that is because I watched it. I watched it on a whim on a Thursday night and then like couldn't sleep after it. Not because it scared me, but it just like left me thinking a lot of how much of a
Grave of the Fireflies is one of those movies that isn't scary. It is just so fucking bleak.
Yeah. But it's also so real. Because it's based on things that actually happened. It probably scenarios those kids actually experience.
Well, it's supposed to just be a recollection of what it was like in Japan at the end of World War II, which it's not, apparently according to the director though, it's not an anti-war film.
So, I mean,
what you will.
It was a time of great change. I mean, like I definitely left it with the impact of like this is war devastates people, so I can definitely see why people would see it as an anti-war film. But it also led to like very huge changes in Japan's culture, which
Japan
I'm sure that
became the powerhouse that they are because of those events.
So it's like I'm sure it's a double-edged sword of like for them, like they very much did not enjoy that time, but reflecting back on where Japan is today, it was a very crucial point in history that changed a lot of it. So
what I found very fascinating about that film, I don't know if we'll ever actually go deep into it, so I guess I can give a few thoughts. The thing I found fascinating was it's a movie that kind of gives the conclusion to the film is basically told right from the start. So it's like a foregone conclusion of what happens, but also like when you watch it, it's tragic, but it's also like 100% self-inflicted in a lot of ways, because a lot
Yeah.
of the things that happen to the main characters is 100% on them, just because they're children and they don't
Yeah.
understand how the world works.
But it's also like at the same time, yes, it's on that, but it's also their children. The adults around them failed them and didn't protect them, because I'm sorry, but like a young kid and especially like a toddler, you can't suspect them to be self-sufficient in that world. It was just unfortunate tragedy. It's a very, I would recommend watching it, but just like prepare to be sad after. And anytime the movie feels a little like, yeah, things are getting better, just prepare to get gut punched.
No, well, I mean, it's the whole movie is a foregone conclusion. It's a very it was one of the films not directed by Miyazaki. It was the other main director there, and his films were always more real and like
Yeah.
grounded, as opposed to the more whimsical films that Miyazaki was known for.
Yeah. But there's definitely other films that aren't by Miyazaki that are still very whimsical. Cause have you ever watched Pom Poko?
Well, yeah, that's a different director as well.
Yeah.
I
Because
I
I
believe
watched that after the next day because
Yeah.
I wanted to like refresh in that style. But that one also can get a little deep into the whole looking into the factors of like deforestation and like how like as we created these cities and we created these lands and we tore all these things down and tore all the nature down, like we ran out and killed a lot of animals, and that's why there's so many that are extinct now,
Yeah.
in comparison to how many animals there were. And it is like tragic, that it was told in a much more uplifting one like way, but and it did have a more lighthearted ending, but still like there were moments where it was really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the Studio Ghibli way. It's what's the most fucked up thing though that I find really amusing, but also like, damn.
What?
Grave of the Fireflies was shown as a double feature with fucking Totoro. What fucking mood? What fucking mood whiplash?
What did they watch first?
I want to say Grave of the Fireflies, but I don't. I guess it was a palate cleanser for after.
I just don't know how I could watch. Like, I needed a day in between before I watch. Like, I didn't watch Pom Poko right after. Like, I went to bed and I couldn't really sleep after. But I gave it some time in between before I watched it. Oh, I just can't imagine going like Totoro's Magic Little Forest. Like going into that, like, oh, that's such bad choices. But
well, they were both made around the same time, so
yeah, but still, yeah. Anything else going on? Anything else happening?
I watched
Play any games?
I watched some other movies, but
those are going to be games.
Those are going to be discussed later. I'm watching High Score Girl still. I finished the first season. I watched the 3-episode OVA, which should have just been more of the first season. I don't really understand, whatever.
I don't either.
And I'm starting the second season, which is only 9. Well, I'm almost done with it. I've got 2 episodes left. That show is interesting. I will say it's very fascinating to have a lead character that doesn't fucking speak like a line in the entire show, but she's yet somehow one of the most expressive characters possible.
Exactly. That's why I liked it so much, that you can have a character that doesn't even talk, but you are so interested in and watching and like enveloped in the character, and like they really are so expressive through ways that aren't speaking. Which I just love that one.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. I've really enjoyed all the video game references because holy shit,
yes.
Like if you're a fan of video games, especially like arcade fighters, you're gonna see a shit ton of references here and there.
Yeah, I like when the video game characters start talking too at points.
Yeah, yeah.
It brings a lot of joy.
I like the whole joke that Ono plays as like the big burly men characters because she thinks they're lonely because no one ever picks them.
She's precious.
And God, there are some unhinged fucking characters though in that show, like especially Ono's sister, the mom, that weird couple that like smashes the arcade machines every time they appear.
Yep.
It's an interesting show. I'm enjoying it. I got 2 more episodes, and then I gotta move on to one of my next shows.
Made in Abyss. You should watch.
No.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
too many other
Yes.
things on the list.
Use
first.
your High Dive subscription. Watch it. It was so good. Well, that was what I finished Made in the Abyss. I finished the second season. I mean the second season because there's a movie. And again, like that show just like takes you on such an emotional roller coaster, and the music is just so incredible, the soundtrack. But that series is amazing. I'm so glad I stumbled into it. Then I watched some garbage. The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising the Nation Out of Debt. I don't know why. I think I saw a clip of it on Reels and just was like, that looks cool. I like the one scene, and then the rest was just like meh. So I just finished it. I was like, whatever. It's 12 episodes. Then I watched a movie we're gonna talk about today, and then I watched Grave of the Fireflies. Then there was a Hunter. I found out that 2 of the Hunter x Hunter movies are on Netflix, so I watched those. Not the third one though. It's only Phantom Rogue in the Last Mission. Then I watched Pompoko, which that one I really enjoyed. And then I watched Mononoke the movie, which Mononoke is such an interesting series. The art style is incredible. So to see it in a feature film and the animation quality just a little bit higher just is also so good. And then I watched Inu-Oh, which that was also a movie. I watched a ton of movies this weekend. Like yesterday. I watched a bunch of these yesterday because I didn't leave my house. Inu-Oh was actually really fun because I didn't realize it was going to be centered around music. But it actually it turned into, and not like a musical. It's just more about like minstrel bands from like the feudal era, which was really interesting. And I honestly would kind of recommend it to you because like the music was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. And then I rewatched Apothecary Diaries season 1. Then I rewatched Windbreaker season 1 because I started watching Windbreaker. It's not finished yet. And then I started rewatching season 2 of Apothecary Diaries to
and
get
you're gonna
caught
find
back
out
up.
And you're gonna find out it's been on hiatus for like 3 weeks. So
I know, and that's why I just was like, all right, I'm just gonna watch it and then just watch them as they come out because I didn't want to wait anymore. So
I know, especially because it's so fucking good and right where it's at right now. I'm like, just fucking finish it.
you're
I
like,
want to know what
damn
happens.
it! Is it just the dub or is it the sub too?
It's the
that
dub.
hasn't
The subbed episodes are out. I think it's because it's 4th of
So
July
they're
weekend
doing a My
coming up.
Happy Marriage again. Kind of.
Not in the sense that the dubbed episodes are coming out on illegal streaming. See,
Oh.
here's the difference. My Happy Marriage didn't even give the Japanese subs.
Mm-hmm.
At least Crunchyroll, at least the sub is there if you don't care. I think this is just a typical delay because of 4th of July.
Well, they
weekend.
need to undelay it or give us a bunch all at once.
I hope they give at least 2 because it's been a bit. Let me double check because I don't think we got an episode this week. Oh no, we did. We got 45 this today.
Oh, we did?
I'll watch that later.
Sweet.
Okay, so we got 1 today, or this week, but it's sporadic. I don't expect to get 1 next week because of 4th of July, but at the time of this recording. But yeah.
Also, Bill.
What?
I have a gripe against you. So remember a video from I think a couple years ago. We talked about controllers. But before we talked about controllers, I brought up that I bought a bird feeder and that the birds ate all the fucking bird seed. Well, our mother bought me an electronic bird feeder because she had one and I wanted one too. So she got it for me. Thank you, Mom. And Bill, you mentioned that I had a bird collection. But guess what? I have a bird collection now.
How is this a gripe? This is just stating
because you were making fun of me. You were making fun of my bird feeder. But now I have a bird collection. Bill, you want to hear about the birds I've collected so far? I don't care. I'm going to tell you anyways. I've collected a downy woodpecker, red a white breakfast, a California townie, a northern cardinal, an American goldfinch. I just got that one today. A chipping sparrow, a house finch, a house sparrow, a blue beak, and then my favorite, the tufted titmouse.
And then my favorite, the black bear that knocked over my bird feeder.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, so funny story. There was a black bear just hanging out in our neighborhood, and like I get a notification on my bird feeder that I looked at it, and it has a camera feed, and suddenly it's at a completely tipped over angle, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? So I went out to fix it. And then I get inside and I see a ring alert from one of my neighbors down the street of a fucking bear walking across the street and was walking from a house. So I believe he went to my house and knocked over my fucking bird feeder. And now it's slightly crooked and it pisses me off. But the bird attacked my bird feeder.
At least it was only a black bear.
Yeah, and it looked like a baby. It didn't look very big. But how dare you put that cloud music on? But yeah, now I have a bird collection. So everyone, get ready for bird updates. Bird update. Like, look at this guy. Look at him. Look at him.
You're showing people on an episode that you want me to post the video.
Well, no, I'm just showing you. Look at him. He's yellow.
Bird.
Look how pretty he is. Look how derpy they are. I love it. Yeah, you can't post this, but maybe I'll show later. I'll show Thracklemore. Thracklemore will care about my birds. I know he will. Or he won't. And then I'll be pissed and I'll just leave.
Anyways,
what are you drinking? What are you drinking, Bill? Don't sound exasperated. I can't hear it. Can you sing the song for me?
It's a Franny's sparkling ginger ale.
Iced. Oh, wait. Did it say Irish ginger ale? You forget the Irish every time.
It's 10 calories per bottle.
Give us a different fact. You give that every time.
No,
give us a nutritional fact. How much sodium?
There's 0 protein. There you go.
Wow. That's more than we usually get from you.
Alex took me to the scene of the crime where she knocked over all those bottles.
Yes. And it was fully stocked, so I wonder why. It was me. I'm the problem. Bill, aren't you going to ask me what I'm drinking?
What are you drinking from your sippy cup?
I'm drinking from my sippy cup. I'm drinking a Franny's cream soda. Today I'm drinking the cream soda, and damn, it's good. But I don't have any facts because it's in a sippy cup. But I do have my recipe from the week. For those who forgot.
Don't read the whole thing.
It's short. For those who forgot, this is the Philadelphia brand cream cheese cookbook from the 1980s. And it was $9.95 at the time. But here is my recipe. So
nowadays it's probably like $20.
Maybe. Here's my recipe of the day. Bill, would you be interested in mock pate?
No.
Well, it consists of 1 ounce package of Philadelphia cream cheese, 1 ounce package of liver sausage, 1 tablespoon of chopped onion, a teaspoon of lemon juice, a teaspoon of Worcestershire, and a dash of salt and pepper. And it's short, Bill. Combine softened cream cheese and liver sausage, mixing until well blended. Add remaining ingredients, mix well, chill. Serve with party rye or pumpernickel. Chill out. Pumpernickel bread or assorted crackers. Blech! That sounds fucking disgusting.
I can't get over you
just liver sausage.
you getting overwhelmed by Worcestershire sauce.
I told you it was short, but Bill, would you be interested in eating mock pate?
That sounds like something your cat would.
Yeah, it does sound like cat food.
I think that's cat food.
Also, like the fact that you have to eat it cold too.
I'm good. You lost me at at an entire thing of cream cheese. That's right there. I'm like, I'm good.
Bill, that's the first ingredient of every recipe.
Yeah,
in
and
this-
that's why I'm not interested.
How fucking dare you? How fucking Bill, this is the Philadelphia cream cheese book. Philadelphia. Look at that jelly monstrosity.
Ugh, I'm good.
I can't wait to find that.
Anyways,
guys, thanks so much for listening to the Gaming and Collecting.
Enough. Yeah. So, anyways, we do have a topic for this episode.
I'm leaving.
No, you're not.
Wait. Look at how pretty it came out.
Another thing that the people can't see because
I don't give a fuck. It's a podcast. Look at it. Here, I'll ASMR with the chain hitting the mic. Can you hear that?
That has nothing to do with anything.
I don't know. It's something. Look at it.
It's your cosplay
It's a
prop.
purse.
Yes. Nice.
You don't sound as impressed as you should be.
It's like the viewer. What are the viewers gonna say? They can't see it, so like,
They can use their fucking imagination.
I don't know anything about the setup involved because we haven't done a video in forever. But
well, I'm sorry. You pick times where I come home from work and I look like a scrub. So, it's the only time we can record. So you're not going to get me looking fucking ugly, especially because I have a giant fucking pimple on my cheek and no one's going to see that. No, thank you.
But everyone knows now.
Well, I'm a person, we all get pimples. I'm sure you have a pimple somewhere.
It's probably hidden under my beard. But anyways, we have a topic.
I should grow a beard. Then I could hide pimples with them. Wait, would a mustache hide this? Should I grow a mustache? Can we put a poll? No, just kidding. Poll after.
You do you. I don't really care what you do.
I don't know if I could grow one. How do I look?
Anyways.
Don't you love having a sister?
It's an adventure every day. I thought you just ate that for a minute. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why would I eat a fucking stress ball? Wait, this one's my favorite.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Can you hear that?
Yes.
I'm delirious. I biked 36 miles.
Well, let's talk about anime movies because that's our topic.
I don't want to.
Yeah, you
Grave
do.
of the Fireflies.
You picked two of these. You picked two of these. Yeah.
Well, no, it was just kind of like.
Well, one of them we kind of just got bullied into watching.
Oh no, it's just my table sweat. Anyways.
Okay. One of them we got bullied into watching, and then the other two we picked.
Which I have to say, the one we got bullied into watching is probably my favorite of the three.
Yeah, it's arguably the best of the three, but
yeah. Slade is a bully. Everyone tell Slade he's a big bully. He should stop bullying the barbers. We're crying on the inside.
Anyways, so this is we're doing the
Bill's
first.
Just like ignore that.
we're doing the first 3 anime films we've done in a while. Like the last one we did was episode 193. So that was
how many episodes are we up to at this point?
This is going to be 234. We've done 2 anime swaps in between, plus retrospectives and revisits. We haven't done a 3 films in a while.
There isn't as many movies as there is animes. So
well, there is a lot of movies. We just haven't really sat down and coordinated 3 to watch, and this was just kind of it happened. So
yeah.
I'm sure we'll try to get more in the future, but for now, this is the first one we're doing. This is the first one we've done since we changed our thumbnail style too. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So for this episode, we're going to be covering the 3 anime films. One very recently released, and the other 2 are kind of older. But we're covering Look Back, the 2024 film.
Yep.
Maquia, When the Promised Flowers Bloom, which was originally released in 2018, and then the oldest film of the 3, 5 centimeters per second, which was originally released in 2007.
Yeah. Which I have to say, for the animation, I wouldn't have necessarily thought it came out in 2007.
I thought it was a lot newer.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot newer too.
I found out that was his second film. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that one last because we're going to cover them in the order of. I guess
We
we'll do
watched.
look back, Maquia, and 5 centimeters per second.
Yes.
So,
which is also my ranking of which ones were my favorite to least favorite.
Honestly,
and
yeah.
none of them were bad. None of them were bad, but some are better than.
I have things to say about 5 centimeters. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
But just to start, look back. This is a very, very interesting film. It's a coming of age drama film created by. It's based off of the manga of the same name by Tetsuki Fujimoto, the author of Chainsaw Man.
Yep.
Goodbye Eri and Fire Punch. And it is in a lot of ways, it's almost like a biography film in sort of a way. Not an exact, obviously.
Isn't it based on Tatsuki Fujimoto's life, or like at least inspired by?
It's inspired because obviously he's not two middle school, elementary school girls, but
yes.
Did you also notice too that the two characters they take parts of his name when you put them together? So the film is essentially, it's like we said, a coming of age story. It revolves around Ayumi Fujino.
Yep.
And Kayamoto, I think was the other one's name.
I think Kyo, but is it Kiyomoto?
Kiyomoto.
Yeah.
Because that's part of Fujimoto.
Yep.
Essentially the film is very interesting because one thing I really liked about the animation style, because this is a Prime film.
Yeah.
I found fun. It's very short. It's just
an hour or a little bit under.
It's just, I think, over an hour.
But
yeah, it's exactly 60 minutes.
The other movies were, I believe, Maquia was the longest, and 5 centimeters per second was around the same, a little bit longer. But I have to say that with the shortest amount of runtime, this was the most impactful story of all of them.
Well, it's the most concise plot. Like there is a very solid beginning structure, a middle structure, and an end structure. And if you have not read the manga and you're just watching it on a first time, it's not easy to see where this film's going to go.
Yeah.
Because essentially,
I did not know. I did not assume where it was going to go at all, and it did not take me where I thought it was going to go.
No.
Also, spoiler warning.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, for 3 anime films, we're going to spoil these films, Rodden. So just keep that in mind before continuing. But yeah, Look Back revolves around essentially 2 elementary schoolers. The main central protagonist of the film is the first girl, Ayumi Fujino, who is essentially a aspiring manga artist in school, and she does like a manga panel for the school newspaper every week. Eventually, she gets asked if she can give up one of her, because she gets like 2 strips. She was asked if she could give up one of her strips for another artist who was a kind of like a recluse girl who doesn't go to school.
Otaku, as some might say in Japan.
There's another term for it, like
shut in. That's what it is.
Well, there's an actual term that the Japanese culture uses, but I can't remember exactly. I think it's like hikikomori. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that one indie game that was really popular for a while. The one about the girl that didn't leave her room, went through the weird mind. Yume Nikki. It's that kind of situation. But essentially, she never really leaves her home and doesn't go to school. I don't really know how the Japanese school system works. I guess she's still technically taking classes.
She's doing her schoolwork, but she's just not actually going to school.
But she gets a second panel, and the movie kind of starts with this very interesting thing where it shows one of Fujino's panels like animated, but it's like animated in her manga art style. And it's a very morbid story about a car accident and a couple die. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
but it's like a comedy thing.
But honestly, reflecting on that to like the manga that the character portrays later on, writes later on, which is implied that she writes like Chainsaw Man. Like it's like Shark Man, but like the implication is like the manga looks the same. So
Yeah.
like seeing the fact that this almost morbid, funny story and then going into it makes sense, you know, why they went down that rabbit hole.
Mm. But eventually she ends up getting the first paper comes out with both the two artist styles, and when she sees um Kiyomoto's panel, she is blown away by just how detailed the art is,
Yeah.
and it ends up kind of causing her to go into like kind of a spiral of depression in a way where she basically she gives up all of her childhood to become a better artist.
Well, it's not necessarily depression. I feel like it's more of just like a drive of like what kids do when someone's better than them at something where they're like, I gotta be the best, and they put everything into it and they start that. But then that's when they start pushing people away. Their family gets worried about them, and then it turns into something more
Yeah, it becomes a very unhealthy
negative.
spiral,
Yes,
especially because
exactly.
it eventually gets to a point where she just kind of says, like a lot of people, where like they just don't think they're getting any better. She basically just goes, "Fuck it, I don't care anymore."
But
Um,
and then like part of that was interesting too because thinking about it, I'm sure there's a lot of mangakas out there who like are very good at drawing character design, but when it comes to backgrounds, I'm sure that that's not their strong suit. And I'm sure it's other way around where some people are really great at backgrounds, maybe they have a trouble putting together character designs, and everyone kind of has their own little, you know, motif that works best for them.
yeah, um,
But
but yeah,
as a
this.
kid, you don't necessarily understand that and realize that, and it's just it can be frustrating.
Hmm. But yeah, after that, it eventually she ends up graduating elementary school. I don't know how Japanese graduations work, but she has to go
Yeah,
drop off the diploma to Kiyomoto. So she gets asked to do it, and she's all like, "Why do I have to do it?" Blah blah blah. Typical
yeah.
girl, like child. But she ends up going to drop it off, and she finds it kind of she's Kimoto's shut in her room, and she doesn't want to enter because she's kind of weirded out. So she ends up leaving the diploma, and in the
Well,
process,
another thing, people lock your doors. Don't leave your doors unlocked so random people can wander inside.
yeah. Um, but yeah, she ends up also. Where were her parents? Like,
At work.
but there's she ends up writing this kind of joking panel as she's
That was
leaving.
basically like get outside, like or
Yeah,
stay inside, get outside. Like it was, and I think a lot of it was her just kind of putting her frustration out without
yeah.
saying it.
But of course, she ends up dropping it, and of course, it goes right under the door to where Kiyomoto is, and she ends up seeing it and immediately rushes out to Gino and basically flat out tells her like, "You're my one of my biggest inspirations as an artist."
Yeah,
Because she loved her work and that's why she wanted to write as well. And
yeah.
they end up forming
Dropped.
this, yes, and they end up forming this very strong bond that progresses throughout the next
Well,
phase of
and
the
the thing
film.
is like you see it start to develop because at first it's more of I think at first is Fujino is kind of using Kiyomoto's skills and stuff because one of the things she talks about, she's like, yeah, I'm working on a manga, which she wasn't, but she just kind of wanted to impress her at that point because she was a fan. So at first, I feel like her relationship is she's going to use her, but it then develops into a friendship.
Well, because we get that really fun montage where it just starts out, it shows them drawing, then they're hanging out
Yeah,
aggressively, and then shows them getting closer and closer.
exactly. Until they're like really good friends. But you'll also see that there's a lot of dependency for Fujino on Kiyomoto in some ways as well, because it does come up later again and it affects their friendship.
Hmm.
But it eventually leads to them working on the manga and then submitting it for like a one-shot contest,
In
which
Shonen
they end
Jump.
yeah, which they end up winning, which was so exciting. And they ended up actually after that because they graduate from middle school and they're in high school, um, and they ended up continuing to create manga together
I
with
really
different
did
one
like
shots.
I did like that line too, where it's like when they get their first paycheck. And she's like, "Hey, I just took out all this money." It's like they're like, "Shouldn't we save that?" And it's like, "No, we'll make more."
Yeah,
it's,
which is
it's
really
so com-
sweet. But and then like that's one of my favorite scenes of like Fujino, who had grown up. I just threw something on the ground. Who had grown up more popular and very differently from Kiyomoto. Is like, come on, we're gonna go have fun out on the town, and kind of gives her experience that like Kiyomoto reflects on it and says, I wouldn't have done that, and it was a little scary, but I'm so glad that I put myself out there and experience this because I'm missing out on so much by shutting myself in this room. And this is a very important scene. Like, you wouldn't necessarily think it, but it's gonna impact Kiyomoto as a character because she'd realized that the outside world is not as scary as it thinks, and I need to grow as a person to become a better person so I can also, one, she can be a better friend to Fujino, but also just be more confident in herself because there's so much out there. So like looking at that scene, you wouldn't think as much, but them bonding on the train, it's really important.
Yeah, and then this is also where the film's first major conflict arises, where um Kiyomoto wants to. They're deciding their plans for after high school, and
Well, they get an offer too. They get an
oh,
offer from Shonen
yes,
Jump to write a full series. Um and Fujino is like, we're in. But Kiyomoto's like, no, I wanna get an education.
well, she
And it's
wanted to
also
go.
that same thing. I wanna go to school, I wanna put myself out there, and I wanna become a better artist.
Yeah, basically, she wants to go to art school and actually improve her craft,
Yeah.
per se. But she also, I think, it's a growing up moment where she really wants to stand on her own and show that
No,
she
that's
can.
exactly what I was
Yeah,
saying. Like it's
yeah,
a very much a I need to change for the better. It's also like something that I think a lot of people can relate to because I think a lot of people end up feeling stuck at some point and feeling like I'm in this rut. I don't know how to fix it. There's got to be a way to do it, but sometimes you have to put yourself out there to make a big change,
hmm
which can be really scary. I think we've all done it, and it's always a little bit scary when you do, but it's so worth it in the end.
yeah. But of course, then we the main conflict is Fujino is kind of hurt by the split, but she doesn't want to show it, so she does the typical thing a teenage girl would do at the time, and basically just goes, "Well, that's all right. I didn't need you anyways."
Yeah,
Um,
which heartbreaking, and they kind of
split at
fall
that point.
apart. The friendship, like, and then like you'll see, it's what's happening is like Fujino ends up continuing her work without going to school, and she ends up working on her manga Shark Kick, which
Yeah,
it's supposed to be Chainsaw Man.
yeah. The spine. At one point, I thought she was writing Chainsaw Man because I saw those spines, and I was like, "Oh, there's a." I'm like, "Oh, that's an interesting thing right there." But then it's like, "Oh no, it's just a parody."
It's supposed
Um,
to be the Chainsaw Man.
and it's
And
showing
she
that
ends
her
up
life is she's very successful, but she's also kind of miserable because this is just her life now.
well, and she feels unfulfilled too because she keeps cycling through assistants because no one is Kiyomoto.
Yes.
Like there was just something special about Kiyomoto, and I think like the scene that leads to the climax is she actually gets off the phone where she's letting someone go, or she's trying to find a different assistant, but they're like, we can't, we don't have anyone else. This is the person you got to use for now.
Yeah.
Because I think her end goal is she does after Kiyomoto graduates, she wants to bring her back
Yeah.
to
But
working
then
with
we
her.
get the the wham moment of the movie
Which
where
this was very uh oh it's appeared. Anyways, and by it's Miss Pooh. This scene like caught me by so much surprise because at first all you see is she's on the phone, and then she turns on the news, she's watching the news, and then suddenly it's talking about an art school, and it's talking about how a man with a pickaxe or like an
with a fucking pickaxe.
yeah started attacking people at an art school, and as soon as she hears that she goes, oh my god, Kiyomoto. um
And then she calls her immediately, which it's amazing. Like her number was like right there. So like she found it in a second. It's
yeah,
implied she hasn't talked to her since they split apart.
but
Um,
instantly she needed to know what happened.
And of
Um,
course, the phone doesn't answer.
and then I think a couple seconds later, she gets a call from her mom, and it
Yep.
confirms that Kiyomoto had passed away. Which for me, I don't know about you, but I did not think that that was going to happen.
I I had suspicions because it's just Fujimoto's writing. He always tends to put like shocks and twists in his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I knew something bad was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be that direct.
Yeah.
The way it was. But the rest of the film this is where the film takes that Fujimoto turn and just becomes very interesting, is my way of putting it. Where Fujino's now like she's basically in a depression because her
Well, she goes home and she goes to the funeral, and part of the funeral is she actually goes into Kiyomoto's house.
yes.
And I think it's devastating when she walks up the hallway and sees all the books, all the notebooks and drawing pads that she'd work on, which were similar to what she had seen before, but even more. And then
Yes.
she goes into the room, and then to see everything she worked on, and then to see that she had collected all the manga.
Did you notice the little subtle thing that I noticed?
What?
Did you notice that she had bought like 7 copies of the first volume?
Yeah.
Because she was
Yeah.
trying to support her friend and she
Yeah.
wanted to help it get. Because if you notice closely, she did similarly for the second and third. She buys multiple copies, but it slowly kind of gets less and less each time. But she's still keeping up with it.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting little thing that you see, and you're like, oh, she was supporting her friend.
And it was really sweet to see, but also like heartbreaking because like Fujino is just, she has so many regrets, like because in her mind she feels so guilty that her involving herself with Kiyomoto and getting her out of her room led to her death, which
yes,
none of that is possible. Like that, that's just not how life
no, it's
works.
just
but when you're
it's a
in that
symbolic
mindset,
thing.
yeah, like you just feel so guilty, and I think a lot of people can probably relate to that pain.
To me, the heartbreaking thing was when it's revealed that we find out what she actually drew in that original comic strip that got Kiyomoto out of her room. You find out it was kind of a mean-spirited, like kind of take that more than anything.
Well, we did see it earlier.
We didn't see it up close though.
Yeah,
like we only got kind of a glimpse at it.
Yeah, but for Kiyomoto, that was something that was so special to her. And then the movie kind of takes a turn where the scrap of paper, she starts ripping it up, and the paper like slips under the door, and then suddenly we're in a what if situation of if Fujino never got involved with Kiyomoto, and if Kiyomoto went to art school without her. Without her involvement, and it changes everything where Fujino actually goes and saves the day. Literally,
because she is
I don't know about you, but I thought they were just going to show the scene of her getting axe murdered, and I wasn't expecting that at first.
It was pretty dark. I was like, oh no. Well,
because I don't want to see this.
Because it's implied that when the paper goes under the door, Fujino had gotten away by that point, so she didn't have time to like connect with her. And she goes to art school and stuff. We find out that because Fujino had lost interest in writing and never got that kick to get back into it, she instead goes into sports, and is now like a track star.
Yeah,
which was fun. And she's like got a completely different personality, which is very interesting. But she ends up saving Kiyomoto from the pickaxe murderer.
We're doing a giant kick,
yeah,
like a leaping kick, and she actually ends up breaking her leg.
It was a shark kick.
Yes.
She ends up breaking her leg, but Kiyomoto is like so thankful when she goes up to the ambulance and like thanks her and mentions that she kind of is like, oh yeah, I was the other artist that you knew back then from middle school, and Fujino makes a comment saying, yeah, I'm thinking about actually getting back into it. And it's like, hey, you want to write something together?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's a foregone thing that they would eventually
find each other.
But of course, this is not reality, and it's only a what if, because we then immediately cut back to Fujino's sadness in the room.
Yeah. But I think after going through that dream imagining and just thinking about Kiyomoto, she
Mm.
knows that she wouldn't want it this way. She would want her to keep going and keep pursuing her passion. And then it concludes really with her deciding to continue to draw. And the ending credits, I think, is like, you wouldn't necessarily think it's amazing, but it's actually her going back into the studio and immediately getting back into her work. Which for some, like, it might just be like kind of like, okay, that's it, that's the ending. But I watched through the whole credits and it was kind of worth it just to see her basically drawing into the night, pursuing her passion, and then just leaving and continuing on. Because I think that's something a lot of people also, when they experience death, it is very hard to move on. It is a very difficult challenge, but you have to go and you have to do it and you have to keep going.
Well, because I think
really liked
the implication is she kind of has the realization that Kiyomoto would have wanted her to continue no matter what. So she's doing that.
That's what I said.
Okay. You said it
you don't listen to me. No, I literally said that. I literally said it.
Okay.
You don't listen to me. That's rude. But this one was clearly, I think, both of our favorites.
It's highly recommended. It benefits that it's a quick but dense watch, I want to say.
But nothing felt rushed. And that's the thing, is like, you can be quick and you can be not as much content, but it doesn't also feel rushed or anything. And the soundtrack also was amazing.
Yes. It also, one thing I will say is like, the art animation matches Fujimoto's art style so well. Like, he has a very distinct way he draws characters.
Yes.
Which is interesting because I'm so used to Chainsaw Man where he draws some really fucked up shit.
Yeah. Well, it's refreshing to see, the different sides of a mangaka. I think that's also just really nice to see, because I feel like a lot of the really big ones, you don't necessarily see a lot of differences in stories, or sometimes it's the same ones. I mean, two of my favorite series, like, really, One Piece and JoJo's, like, there's not that much like difference.
That's really all they've done.
like in some and they're very iconic artists, but it's cool to see like someone who like got famous for Chainsaw Man to do something so out of box for that.
Technically got famous for Fire Punch, but
no, but I think this one was the one that really took it over the edge, though. But it's just so fascinating to see like a completely different story, completely different style, no fantasy elements or other world, like just life. But told in such a great way. Like, I would recommend this film to anyone, like, not anime watcher or not. Like, it was just a great story. A sad story, which I was not ready for as I was watching this while I was working out. I had put it on while I was rowing. Because I needed to row for an hour. And I was not expected to cry at the end of my workout.
Alex is like rowing down the river and she's like, this is the worst.
Oh, well, no, I'm not kidding. Like, I was literally just like as I'm working out. It was a little funny, but
which was a sadder ending, this or Grave of the Fireflies?
I mean, like, this at least like had something more uplifting at the end of like the person continuing, not moving on. But
Look Back was a generally happy movie up until that point. Grave of the Fireflies is bleak from start to finish.
No, yeah, it literally tells you this is the day I died, and I'm like, fuck. No,
Grave of the Fireflies is literally the definition of war is hell.
Yeah. No, that one was definitely more sad, but I don't know. I just think this one just brought. But I would recommend to everyone watch it. This one was my favorite. There's no point in waiting till the end to say this one was the favorite. Yeah, it was mine. It was yours. This one was the best film.
It's literally watching this movie is the whole reason this episode got put together in the first place, because we were like, hey, watch 2 more and we can do a 3 anime films.
And Slade bullying.
Yeah.
Slade's bullying. Slade is the sponsor of this video. With his bullying.
Go watch Driveway Beers. But anyways, so the next film I'll save ratings for the end, like what my full thoughts are. But the next film is Maquia and the Promised Flower Blooms. I forgot
When
the
the
name.
promised flower
When the Promised
blooms.
Flower Blooms. I will say this is definitely the longest film, and the
Yes.
story is a little. There are points where I feel like this one could have been a little bit shortened at points. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say,
I agree.
not that it
It's
was
not a
bad.
perfect film at
No,
all.
it's a unique film. I will say it's just kind of one of those things where when I watched this one, I was like, oh, okay, this is. I think I know where this is going. I was like, nope, that's not where this was going. I was like, oh, okay, that's different. I
Yeah.
was just like, all right, interesting. Um,
Yes.
so this one was the one you recommended.
Yeah, well, I had watched it and I kind of related somewhat of the plot points to not free reign, but like concepts of free reign were applied in this movie a lot.
There's a
Oh,
general idea. Free Run's a much better story. I'm gonna just say that now.
no, yeah, I agree. I like the story of free reign better, but I also like the story of this too. I think this world was just a lot different. Um, but basically, like what we're talking about though is like the concept of like beings that
Don't
live
age.
forever. Yeah,
Yeah,
beings that live forever don't age and don't experience death themselves, but experience it through their connections they made with other people. Um, which I think is always a little bit like of a like well, like intense because you don't really think about it, but I think a bunch of people can relate though when they see someone that they love pass away maybe a little too soon. Um, I think people could relate to that. Um, but the whole story is set around Maquia, um, which she's a young girl from a special race called the Lorf. And we'll just say the Lorf are like equivalent to elves where they just don't age. They all are like very light skinned, blonde, they're considered beautiful. Um and
I will say right off the bat though, one thing that a little bothered me is like the whole not aging thing. That's fine. Why is Machias perpetually stuck in the body of a 14-year-old?
I think it's all of them.
But
Well,
the other one is definitely some of them are definitely older than others. That's the one thing in this film that kind of bothered me. I'm not gonna lie, because the lead, what are they called? Like what was the race?
Lorf.
Lord, the main one who's like kind of the central like leader of the pack. Like she is definitely an old has the like physical appearance of an older woman.
Yeah.
That's it's just it doesn't matter in the long run. It's just something that kind of bothered me a
I
little
think
bit.
it might also be like, it takes many, 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 many years before you start showing any signs of aging, and Maki is still pretty
Maybe
young. I think that's
they
what it implies a little bit.
maybe they didn't
Um,
really go deep into that. It was just kind of a
but I
thing.
don't think it was really as necessary. But basically, like the lore for like a special race of people that they're called the clan of the separated because they live separately because they don't age. They can live for 100 years and they're kind of known as legends to the outside world. But most of the time they spend their days weaving hibiol, which is like a special cloth. um and it's writing like a chronicle or a passing of time. So everything that they weave in the cloth is also kind of telling a message and telling a story. And it's a very I'm telling you this because it comes up a lot in this movie, so you can't
Yes.
forget it. Um but Makia is alone, like she's orphaned, she's by herself. She never really had anyone. But one of the things that the clan leader first interaction she has with the clan leader is to say like creating emotional attachments to people will only hurt you. um and Makia just feels really lonely because she's never really had someone. So she's basically just would honestly latch onto anyone. She latches onto one of her friends, um, Layla, which she ends up being a very important character as well. But they're kind of living their life. They're spending time together when the village they're in is attacked by an army of flying dragons. Um, and basically it ends up that Layla her friend, also one of the Lorfs, is kidnapped by the kingdom because she's going to marry the king of that kingdom and basically have a kid.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a genocide plot when we started watching this, and I was just like,
Nope.
that's great.
Me either. But as Maki is able to escape, not all of them are because they kill a lot of them and kidnap some of them. Maki is one of the few people to escape. She flees the village and becomes entangled with a hypnol and ends up kind of falling and crashing. But eventually she wakes up and she sees a merchant, and the merchant in like an ambush caravan where she finds a newborn baby. And she immediately runs to the baby and sees that the baby is being held by the deceased mother, which the mother had held on for her life. But she doesn't want to leave the baby. She refuses to let him die. And
the merchant also makes the very morbid comment of, "It's all right, the little one will be with his mother soon."
Yeah. Like, and she's like, "Not on my watch." And she ends up taking him as her son and ends up raising him. So she
I will say, like, one of the scenes that's incredibly heartbreaking is the scene where she ends up traveling to this village and she's desperately trying to feed the baby. So she's literally like shoving its mouth on a cow udder.
Yeah. Well, because also like she never knew how to raise a baby. Like she has no experience.
She's still a child.
Yeah. Up going to that village, and after getting caught basically stealing, I think it was a goat.
No, stealing. It was a cow, because I remember like the response was literally like the person's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I don't know how this works."
Yeah.
And I'm just like sitting going like, "Oh."
But she ends up like befriending the woman that kind of caught her and ends up living in that village with that family. With also being able to weave the hibinal. It's kind of like a very expensive luxury item. Like not many people have them. So if you can get your hands on it, it's the big bucks. So she gets employed that way. But part of it is she needed to name her son, which she names him Ariel. And it kind of goes through that Ariel is growing into a child. I think he like turns around 7 or 10 when she ends up getting contacted by I don't know if it's Layla or just someone like from her clan contacts her and says that Layla is being forced into the arranged marriage. So she feels like I need to go and help. I need to go and save her. And she and Ariel end up leaving.
Yeah. She's also magically dyed her hair by this point to match Ariel's hair.
Well, I honestly think that it wasn't that she dyed her hair. I think part of it too was being away from her people. Part of it I think was that, because I don't think it really implied that she dyed her hair. I think it was just almost to show that she was changing. I think that's why her hair color changed, because she wasn't really being one of the Lorths anymore. She was being human at that point. But she ends up going, and her and Ariel end up like kind of struggling along the way. But eventually she runs into Krim, who was one of Layla. Well, I think it was Layla's boyfriend actually. And he helps him with the plot. And they do actually end up getting Layla out of there. But as Maquia encounters her, Layla's pregnant. And she doesn't want to see Krim because she feels like she betrayed him. So the mission, even though originally succeeding, because she refuses to leave. And then Maquia and Ariel are kind of left behind. And they have to find work because they also can't. It starts coming to the conclusion that she can't stay in a place for very long because Ariel's growing up, but she's not changing. So it's kind of like a stuck situation. And then at one point it implies that Ariel understands that his mom isn't normal. She's not aging like everyone else.
Well, because it becomes a big thing that ends up happening is at the start she can pass as his mother, But eventually it gets to the point where more people are like, oh, is that your younger sister or your like sister?
Yeah. And that's what happens because like there's a time skip and Ariel started working, I think originally in a mine, but eventually ends up working in the army.
Yeah.
And they do actually end up reconnecting with like someone from the village that she was raising Ariel originally, and that's how Ariel ends up joining the army. But kind of one it Ariel also is having a really complicated relationship with his mother, and he's kind of confused because one, she's not like a normal mom. He knows she's different. And it ends up leading to a struggle where that's why he joins the army to separate from her because he doesn't know how to process it anymore. Which kind of leaves Maquia on her own, and she ends up running into Rem again. Rim? Was it Rem or Rim? Krim. I was completely wrong. Krim. She ends up I just threw my mic. My mic almost fell down. Anyways, she ends up running into Krim, and then basically Krim's like, if you want to help us, you gotta revert back to a true Lorf. So she ends up getting like locked away at one point until all of the humanity, which would be the different colored hair instead of the pure white, like the pure platinum blonde of the Lorf people, and they cut it off to show that she is now back where she belongs, or in their case, where they think she belongs. And then there's kind of another time skip where, she hasn't seen Ariel for years. Ariel's now married.
To the girl from the village that was bullying him earlier.
Yes.
It's one of those relationship
kid bullying though.
I know
kid bullying.
It's the typical like the girl bullies the guy she likes kind of thing.
Yeah, and that was a moment actually we didn't really touch on where when they ended up deciding to leave, she never got to say I'm sorry. She kind of held that with her for a bit, but they end up getting married and a big battle happens, and that's kind of when Maquia and Ariel end up reconnecting. Which also Maquia does during this whole battle. It's to basically take Krim back. Not Krim. Take Layla back. At one point, Krim ends up almost getting to her, and he does pass away. But you also see that Layla was having a very bad time.
Well, yeah, her baby got taken from her, and she's just been locked up basically.
Because they want the child to have the abilities of the Lorf, but not actually be a Lorf, but it didn't work that way. And she ended up just being a normal child. So like the king basically abandoned the child and locked away Layla. And Layla was kind of losing her mind at that point. Because she never even got to hold her baby. At some point, Maquia in the whole fight gets separated from Krim. Krim went and died basically. But at one point she actually ends up finding her way to Ariel's home where his wife is, and she went into labor, and Maquia delivered the baby. And then eventually she also runs into Ariel again, and Ariel at one point is like, please don't go. And like they have a very touching moment where they reconnect, and Ariel's like, I miss you. I'm so sorry. I pushed you away. And Maquia kind of forgives because she loves him. She's his mother, and that's what moms do.
But she must go now because her people needs her.
Yes, her people needs her.
I'm not gonna lie, this scene was unintentionally comical coming up.
A little bit. Well, she ends up going and rescuing Layla.
But the way the scene is showed is so fucking unintentionally humor, like the funniest scene in the movie, where she basically finally sees her daughter, but she has no attachment to her daughter because she's never actually known her. So she's like, "Oh, hi, daughter." It was like, "Hi, daughter, son, person. I'm gonna go run away now. I'm going." And then she runs and jumps off of a bridge. Yep. And then Maquia happens to come by with the last remaining dragon, and they fly up into the distance. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, that wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was.
And that was another plot point too. There was a lot of kind of plots happening at once, and they were kind of converging into something. But at first, you wouldn't necessarily know. With the dragons that the Empire was using, a lot of them were dying because, well, one, they were, I think, just abusing them, and then they just passed away. But there was one remaining dragon left, And as
Well,
Layla
they were
was there, she was
contracting
like,
like
I
this
want to
weird
free. Yes,
disease. Yeah, the red
probably
eye.
from being abused. Um,
Well, they're also in captivity, and they're probably not supposed to be.
exactly, abuse. But they actually end up saving the last living dragon and flying away with it and returning to the village. But eventually, it's implied that even though Maquia had to separate and be with the separated, she does end up going to visit. Oh, sorry, I just noticed I got sunburn. In like one spot. She ends up going back to see him. And she actually ends up traveling with the merchant that actually was
Ooh.
one of the Lorf as well.
Well, he's a half Lord.
Yes. And she ends up going back because he ends up passing away because like it was a big time skip where he was old and she wanted to see him one last time.
Well, because one of the most telling scenes is when she meets the little girl in the field. She's like, "Oh, hi, is your mother around?" And it's like the mother shows up, and it's like, "Oh, wait, that's not Ariel's wife. That's the baby that Maquia delivered."
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Which
she's
that
like,
is
it was a way to basically be like, a lot of times passed, like a
well,
lot.
and like at one point you hear her saying like mom passed away not that long ago and dad is, getting closer to his time, but they loved each other so much.
Yes.
And she was talking about their life together, which you're like, oh no, I know it's coming. And then Maquia ends up going to his bedside, and sitting with him and kind of taking care of him. But then she also kind of breaks down because it's his deathbed and she shares like her final words and she just cries. Like she just lets it all out. But as she's leaving, her kind of reflection and thought is like, yes, the clan leader was right. I experienced loss and pain that I don't think that was terrible. But at the same time, I lived such a fulfilling life. I got to raise a kid and I got to see his family grow and grow, and I wouldn't take it back for the world.
No, it was an interesting ending. It was very bittersweet, I think is like the best way to put it.
Well, it was despite all the loss, loving her son brought her so much happiness that she will never forget.
Yeah. It was an interesting movie. I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it either. I found it very much. I was like, okay, that was a good watch, but I'm probably not going to watch it again.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go back and rewatch it, but I did. I would say I liked it a little more than probably you liked it. I thought there was a lot of good music choice, and I really liked the art
music
of it
was
as
fine.
well.
I feel like they could have cut some stuff out and made a more concise.
No,
film.
there's definitely portions that I think could have cut out. But then there's some stuff I look and I'm like, well, if they cut that out, we would have lost this kind of character moment as well. Because like there's a scene of like we didn't really talk about it, but Maquia and Ariel when he's still young, when they first are traveling away and they're in the city, and Ariel is upset because everything is different. His whole life has changed. And for him, it's like he's trying to adjust to it because his whole thing has changed. He went from living a pretty normal, consistent life to suddenly they're on the run. And he ends up like running away for a bit. And Maki is running around trying to find him. Do I think that scene could have been cut out? Probably. But I also think it impacted their relationship and their characters. And also just kind of was a good emotional moment. But yeah, it probably could have been cut out to push the plot along farther. The dragons probably could have been cut out. They probably could have found a different way. But it was also kind of
the way I was thinking watching this movie and my thought on it was, I feel like this, because of the way the movie just kind of felt almost rushed at the same time as like disjointed a bit. I feel like it would have worked better maybe as an anime series, to be honest, and had more time to flesh things out.
Yeah, I almost agree. I actually really agree with that. Or even if it was like split into like 3 films, it was like a 3-part, maybe one,
like a
an hour of
multi-series
each
thing.
one.
Because my problem here is that I felt like the film there was too many things going on at once.
Agreed.
And it made the film very hard to follow at times. Because like I remember, like I already forgot his name. The
Krim?
the other When Krim disappears, I forgot all about him, and then he comes back. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy.
I originally thought he died.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh, him. Yeah,
he's still alive. Cool. No, I completely agree. I really think this would have benefited from, instead of being a movie, being a short series, or even just like 3 movies, like 3 separate, like just an hour each, rather than just trying to do the 2. But I did enjoy it though. Like I definitely,
it was a fine film.
This one was number 2.
I just thought it was a bit cluttered.
I thought though that the really emotionally high moments were great. Like those
there
really
were good moments.
Like when the emotion hit, it was wonderful. And like there was a lot of really good moments. Just it could have been a lot. I see the potential of it being something that people would talk about more if they had split it up.
Yep. So I'll save ratings, like we said, for the end. This last one's going to be interesting to talk about. So 5 centimeters per second. This is a 2000 film. It is actually the second film by Makoto Shinkai, the famous creator of Your Name. Weathering with You, Suzume. This is actually his second film, one of his earliest films.
Which is also technically, this is what we were kind of talking about with Maquia, where it's actually 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's weird. It's when you watch the movie, it's technically one shot through, but it's technically like it's 3 segments, like into one long film.
And I'm just going to be honest. After the first episode, I lost interest. I was no longer. The train arc was great, and then after that, I honestly couldn't tell you what the plot was. I zoned out. I just thought it was boring, and I completely lost all interest.
I want to start this off by reading a passage from TV Tropes that I found that sums up.
The one that you sent me?
The one I sent you, just that was kind of thought-provoking. So TV Tropes, it's a website where people can compile just like pages on like different media and stuff. It's basically like an encyclopedia of pop culture tropes and stuff. I was reading the 5 centimeters per second page after I'd watched it because the movie left me with a very like, kind of feeling. I'm gonna flat out say it now. I was reading the Your Mileage May Vary tab, and I came across they had an entry under the trope hype backlash. And I wanted to read it real quick because it actually sums up my thoughts on this film very well. The film is largely well received for its atmospheric, emotive style, scenery porn that remains stunning more than 10 years later. Very true. This film is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That is the one thing I will say about it.
It does not look like it came out in 2007.
You watch this and you know this is a Shinkai film, like immediately. It's gorgeous. Choosing realism in depicting the fragility of a long-distance relationship while avoiding the usual fairy tale endings and having a deep meaning that needs to be slowly savored and mediated on to properly appreciate. That said, there is a substantial minority of viewers coming in later, especially after the faster-paced and more narratively dense Your Name made Shinkai a mainstream darling, who find the film boring and reliant on melodrama and ambience rather than a well-developed plot and characters.
I will say, though, I honestly forgot it was a Shinkai film until you told me after. When I went into it, I did not go into the mindset of watching it knowing that it had anything to do with the creator of Your Name. So I just want to put that out there that I didn't make that connection. Reflecting on it now, I can definitely see the Shinkai art style. But as I watching it, I had no idea. I completely forgot that it was. But I zoned out after because I lost interest. Like I can say episode 1, I loved that episode. I loved him on the train, the constant like trying to get to her, the powering through after the many, many stops of the train, and like them connecting and kind of experiencing their first like moment as a growing couple. But after that, I lost interest.
The problem with this film, its setup is very fascinating. It is a literal, very well written representation of a long distance relationship and how they just don't work, because the main, they don't always work. Sometimes they do work. I'll preface that.
Yeah.
They're hard though.
Yeah.
So the main two characters of this are best friends, Tono. I can't do last names very well.
Uh,
Takakai,
Takaki.
Takaki, and and uh,
Kaka.
and Shinohara Akari.
Which, for the
They
most part, they say Takaki and Akari.
Yep, last names in Japanese culture, but it's basically they're two best friends who have obvious feelings for each other, and it kind of shows that they're growing closer, but then one of them has to move away, and it's the whole long distance thing.
Yep.
So the it kind of showcases like what they will go through to actually meet each other, and when they finally do, they confess their love for each other, and it is a very sweet moment.
Yeah.
Then we cut to the next chapter, which is like long distance relationships kind of suck because it's literally they just can't ever see each other. This film is very light on plot. Like most of the plot is in the first episode, the first segment, I should say.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know what it is, but just I already said it, but the scene of him going, like them setting that meeting up and him on the train and him painstakingly looking at his watch every time the train gets delayed and counting down the hours, but just praying that she's still going to be at the train station.
Yes.
And when he finally gets there and she is sitting there, it's so well done. Like it feels amazing. And I loved it. Like episode 1 with the cherry blossoms. I adored this part. And there's just something that like the next two parts, it just didn't capture that magic that happened in the first part.
The problem is part 2 is almost too disjointed from the film.
Exactly.
1 and 3, there is connections. The problem is that middle section, you need a middle section because 1 and 3 don't connect very well.
Yes.
But the middle section we have doesn't make any sense in the overall story.
Well, and like reflecting on it, I understand why. Because I mean, technically, like that was just their life at the time. They were both living in two very different places and they couldn't see each other.
Well,
but at the same time, it's just I lost interest.
Well, that's the problem with part 2 is Akari doesn't get mentioned. She's like gone by this point. Like
the only time she's mentioned is just when at one point someone brings up Takaki, you're always looking at your phone and texting someone. He's like, all he says is like, it's someone really important to me.
Yeah.
I think that's really the only mention of Akari, because I won't lie, when I first saw Kane, I thought that was Akari, and then I realized, oh, it's not Akari.
No, it's a new girl he's met in his new home town. And the whole thing is like it's the typical long distance relationship where like you meet someone new who has feelings for you, but because you're so hung up on the previous person, you don't notice, and then they're too shy to actually do anything about it. So it ends up just kind of going nowhere. And it's very, this section is very slow. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was nodding off during this part, and I was like, no.
No, I completely zoned out. And I honestly feel like it's really like they introduced Akane, and then like she confesses, and then he just doesn't say anything.
Yeah, because he is still hung up on Akari,
and then poor girl cries herself to sleep.
Yeah, it's the thing about this one is unlike most Shinkai films, this one's really real. Like it is a very real film.
Because like I can relate to the character of like, imagine if like you had no idea this person's feelings besides friendship, and suddenly they're confessing and you're like, I don't know what to say. You know, like I can understand why he said nothing, but at the same time it's like, say something. Even if it's turning her down, say something to the fucking girl who just put her love for you.
Then we get to the final segment. The final segment,
the 5 centimeters per second.
The name whole of the episode. Motif of the film. This one is very. This actually, like, this threw me up for a loop just for how much of a brave. I'd say it was a very brave direction to go in, but I'm not sure if I liked it or not.
Yeah.
Basically, a time skip happens now, and it's many years later. So, for time's sake, the first part takes place in 1991 through like 94.
Yep.
The middle section takes place in 99. The final part, it's all the way up to 2008, so they're adults now.
Yes.
And we find out that Takaki is a programmer, but he hates his job.
Yep.
Like
he has a girlfriend, but it's not going well, and it's implied that they break up.
Yeah, he's very miserable. Like his life has just kind of gone to shit. We find out
Bill
too
was just born.
Huh?
1995. Oh wait.
No, that's no. This takes place in. Oh wait, I
forgot. Sorry, I forgot. I just saw that 1995. I was like, oh yeah, Bill's birthday year. Anyways, sorry about that. We were how old?
2008.
Yeah. Can Bill do math? Don't pull out the calculator app on your phone or computer. I'm gonna make fun of you.
Like I was 13.
Actually,
13?
now I want to see. Now I want to see. Now I want to see. Now I want to see.
I think I was 13.
Also don't want to do. I'm gonna correct you. Let's see if you can do math. Ding, ding, ding! You can do math! All right, Bill, now guess. How old was I?
You were 12.
Oh my
god! Yeah, so it's in a future now, and it's very... I was shocked that they went, like, here. I was like, oh. I'm like, this is an interesting twist. It's very real, though. Because you watch the entire last part, and he really was kind of a miserable kid.
Yeah.
But then we cut to Akari, who it's like, oh yeah, remember her?
Yeah.
She's now preparing to get married, and it's basically her life is fairly okay for the most part. Like Takaki is still hung up on her, but she's basically moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's.
I mean, she's engaged to someone else. She's pretty much moved on.
Yeah, Takaki is so miserable that he quits his job, and he basically is just like, I don't care. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Akari is going through like a box of possessions, and she finds one of the letters that Takaki had written her. And it's kind of like this weird narration thing where they kind of both recall their dreams and stuff, and it's kind of cute, but it's also like kind of tragic at the same time. And then we get the scene that really like I was like, damn. I did think it was worth the journey, even if I found the film to be very that's my best way of putting it. Was the final scene, which after watching Your Name first, this was very interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
They get to this train track, which is a train track that was seen very early in the film.
I think it implies that they had walked down it as kids.
Yes. But they get to this train track, and they're first off too like, where the fuck are the safety laws and like safety precautions? They're walking down a fucking.
It was 2008.
No, I think this was it was a movie. they were just for a movie scene, but I was like,
oh, you mean like when they were crossing the train tracks?
They cross the train tracks and a train immediately goes by. I'm like,
well, yes.
I was like, wait a minute. But yeah, they're crossing the track at the same time, and it's implied that they don't really notice each other at first, and then they kind of look back and they go, wait a minute, and the train goes by.
Yeah.
And then once the train goes, Akari's already left by that point. Like she didn't stick around to find out.
Yeah. She was like, I'm getting married. Bye.
Well, because it's implied she's moved on.
Yeah.
He has not. And he's the one that's kind of standing there, like just staring off into the distance. And I thought it was and it cuts to credits right there. And to me, like, I was like, there's no happy ending.
Yeah.
It just ends. Like, it just ends.
I don't mind when there's not a happy ending. Like, that's not why I would be upset. Like, the only reason, like, why this film upset me is honestly the second part. Like, because the flow between each of them, and
the second part we needed to see more.
It needed to see what Akari was doing
exactly
at the same time, and I feel like that's what really killed it. Because at first I thought Akane was Akari. I thought she was tan now. I don't know. And
because it shows like, it even shows what what's surfer girl's name? I've already forgotten. Kane. It actually shows what she's doing in the future, and she's like surfing, and it's actually implied she's moved on as well and is enjoying her life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, this main character sucks. Like,
also, like, I don't know if it would have I don't know what would have made it better, but even if like I don't know, like Akane died or something, like, and then that's why she's gone. I don't know. It just like I really think the second part, the movie would have been better if like as we're seeing Takaki, we're seeing a little bit of Akane, um, Akari. Sorry, I mixed up the names because I thought the other girl was her at first. But yeah, or if it was just that first part and they released nothing else, and it would have just been a nice little short.
Yeah, it's just it's weird. I
Because I like the third part. I didn't remember much of it because I truthfully did zone out in the second part and lost all interest. I won't lie. But listen, like kind of looking back now, you're like, oh, like I don't hate the last part. I don't hate that. Like that they they didn't really reconnect, but it was kind of the signifying of like the train crossing and a car being done signified to Takaki of like it's over. It's done. She's gone. She's not going to stick around. There's no chance of getting back together. I have to move on, which I really liked. But the second part just sucks. Second part sucks. It's not good.
The only thing about the second part that I kind of this isn't really the movie. This is more just me theory crafting.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts on the second part are it kind of showcases that he really, which is kind of a symbolizes like how long distance relationships tend to struggle, is he really didn't put a ton of effort in.
Yeah.
Because it's shown that he's texting her, but like, what does that mean? Like a lot of the times, like,
yeah,
like, is he really going out of his way? It's one of those things.
Also, it's hard too because then like, yes, all he could do more, but the truth is that like at that point it was implied I think that he was in Okinawa, which is like an island. It's not like you can take a train at that point. It's I have to take a flight, I have to take a boat. So like the options of them being able to actually see each other without their parents spending the money, which they probably wouldn't at that time, meant that they had no chance of seeing each other. And also like there's no video call. All they could do was really text or call, but that was it.
It's I get what Shinkai was going for. I just think, unfortunately, we have seen.
There's so many better films.
This film's biggest if we had seen this in 2007, we probably would have different thoughts.
Yeah,
because in 2007, this would have been a very like unique,
very interesting, especially in the whole. I feel like there was a good period of time where everything had to have a happy ending.
Yeah, and it's very
and not from a massage parlor.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll bring it. I'll tell you later.
I know what that means, Alex.
No. It was more of like when I went to Boston, with my friend John. We had gone to like no, we went to a restaurant and then we just happened to pass a street that had a bunch of massage parlors and I was like, hey, do you think they give the happy end? He was like, I don't know, let's go find out. Sorry. It's just us scooping.
This is why you have after school bitchcraft, Alex. This is why you have that.
I'm just saying. I make fucking jokes like that. Anyways, guys, thanks so much.
To me, this the problem is I
just ruined the whole fucking mood. But that's just how our podcast goes.
I had a thing I was going on and I just lost it.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate what Shinkai was trying to do. It's honestly it's kind of refreshing because you look at the 3 other Shinkai films we've watched. The main reason I wanted to watch this was A, because I want to watch all the Shinkai films at some point. Yeah. And B, this one, it was on Netflix and it's very easy to watch. Like, yeah, I figured why not? This one is the one that always gets brought up. People bring it up. This has actually been dubbed twice too, I found out. Apparently ADV had dubbed this originally, and the ADV version is like very hard to find. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a much older film, so I was curious. And I will say, like, the we mentioned it earlier, the animation's gorgeous. The soundtrack is very Shinkai-esque. Like,
yes.
It's a visual spectacle. The writing, the plot is just not the best.
Well, let's just say I would go back and rewatch the first part and then just say, I'm good. And I would rewatch that many times. The rest of it, I don't think I'll be rewatching. But the first part, I would rewatch that. That was good.
It's just very interesting because, like, we've watched Your Name, Weathering with You, and Suzume at this point. The 3 films since he became a superstar, like probably the best anime film director in Japan.
Miyazaki rival.
I wouldn't even say rival. I think he's just the next. He's the next big thing. Because his style is just so unique. But it's very interesting because I really want to watch. There's 3 other films of his before Your Name that we got to watch at some point.
Yes. Well, we have plenty of movies to watch for 3 anime films.
Oh yeah. But he very much had specifically said Your Name was like his hype, like his breakthrough, and he actually was kind of annoyed that it became the only thing he was known for.
Yeah.
Which
understandable.
Fair. But now that I've watched some of his older stuff, I'm kind of like, I think I get why Your Name was the media breakthrough for you.
Yeah.
Because Your Name, it's very interesting because Your Name ends on a very ambiguous but happy ending. Like, do they recognize each other? Do they not? We don't know. We'll never find out because it ends perfectly. We don't need to know what happens next.
Yeah.
It's up to interpretation. Weathering with You, it's a happy ending, kind of.
Yeah.
I love Weathering with You, but my God, that ending is so fucking disjointed.
Yes.
And then Suzume, I fucking love Suzume. Like that is my favorite.
Suzume is my new. Yeah, I agree. Suzume is my favorite.
I love Your Name, but Suzume was so good, and that ending is
Suzume, Your Name, and then Weathering with You, and then this.
Yeah. The thing about Suzume's ending is Suzume is a good film all the way through, but it also has like the most defined happy ending out of all of his films. Like, because it straight up is like, oh yeah, it happy.
Yay!
It was also interesting too, just because of this was the first. I don't know about his other films, but it was interesting watching a Shinkai film without the fantastical elements.
The Fantastic Four.
Yeah, see it in theaters next month. Anyways, but yeah, so I guess ranking these films, I definitely recommend Look Back.
I gave Look Back a 9 out of 10. And it was very close to a 10 out of 10.
I forget what I gave it, to be perfectly honest.
I gave Maquia an 8 out of 10 because I liked it. There was a lot of good. I just wish it was a little. I wish they spread it out a bit more. And then I believe I gave 5 centimeters per second a 7, mostly because I really liked the first part. So I couldn't really give that anything lower.
And it was pretty.
I also, it was very pretty, but I couldn't really justify giving it an 8 or a 9 because it just didn't. And honestly, it was kind of close to, like, if there was a 65 on Mal, I probably would have given it that. I think I just ended up giving it a 70 on Annie List because I gave it a 7 on Mal. But
yeah,
really, 65 is what I would give it.
Yeah, it was. I gave So I gave Look Back a 9. I gave Maquia a 7, and I think I also gave 5 centimeters per second a 7. And to me, 7. So the way I put it is 7 is kind of like my default.
Same.
Rating. Like it has something
special.
Something has to be bad for me to give it lower than a 7. Honestly.
Well, no, for me, it's like once we enter the 5s, that's when it's bad, or 5 or below is when it starts getting bad. I give like a 6 to some stuff where I'm just like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't really anything great either.
Yeah.
That's why I'd almost give it like a 6.5. Like, because there were some moments, that first episode I loved in 5 centimeters per second, but I just lost interest. Oh no, I'm sleepy. It's making me sleepy.
Asleep just talking about it.
I am. It's making me sleepy.
It'll be very interesting when we watch.
I need more bird content.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting when we watch the later Shinkai films because I'm very curious. Because I realize now why Your Name was his breakthrough in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Because Your Name is just such a it's very interesting how many parallels I saw with Your Name. But Your Name just did everything so much better.
Yes.
But yeah, so that was the 3 anime films. I'd highly recommend Look Back. Maquia,
Yes.
if you're curious, go for it.
Yeah. If you have been enjoying the free room vibes and want something kind of the same vibes, maybe.
Just expect a very overly dense film.
Yes.
That might have.
And then 5 centimeters per second. Just watch the first part and end it there.
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say if you're a
I
fan
would.
of
Fuck the ending. Fuck that movie. I'm just kidding.
if you're a fan of Shinkai, I'd say check it out. But otherwise,
If you're not, just watch the first part.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd
or
say
just don't watch it.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're not a Shinkai fan and you're not really into something that's kind of disjointed, I probably wouldn't say it has a very it's very different. Like it's not unexpectedly different at times, but I don't know. It's definitely showing its age.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe we should wrap it up now because you're straight up falling asleep.
I am so fucking. I biked 36 miles. Say that's amazing.
Good. Great. Awesome. Outstanding. Amazing.
Thank you. That's what I needed to hear. Now, outro music to play while we're doing your outro, Bill. I think it would. Yes. Yes. That is what I want to hear.
But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us on the Gaming Podcast.
Add some fucking music. What was that?
I picked something random. Anyways, actually, I know what I can add.
You know what you can add? Yeah!
Anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us on the Gaming and Collecting Podcast. You can find the Gaming and Collecting Podcast on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. And if you'd like, go check us out over on the Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com. A whole bunch of awesome different shows, videos, blogs, all sorts of fun stuff. And be sure, come see us there. And until next time, guys, we'll see you all later.
You won't see me because I'm everywhere.